A student once told me that the wasteland is madness. She had put in a lot of effort, and the effort had not been fruitful, and she was disgusted. I think she had a point. The wasteland may be madness, but if this be madness, there is a method in it. If the wasteland had been a seamless narrative, spoken by a single narrator in smooth iambic meters, it would have utterly failed to capture what it had attempted to capture: fragmentation. Only the wasteland, mark my words, only the wasteland, with its shifting locales, its fluid time frames, its changing narrators, can effectively capture the fragmentation it attempted to capture. Fragmentation of society, fragmentation of culture, fragmentation of language, fragmentation of family, fragmentation of relationship, fragmentation of the individual, fragmentation of the world. I admit that the wasteland is chaotic, but it is only seemingly chaotic. Beneath the terrible chaos, underneath the terrible chaos, is a profound unity. It is your task as a student to grasp this underlying unity. A very important feature of the wasteland is its extensive use of myth. What is myth? I shall give you a definition, a very simple definition. A myth is a story which is false but which is believed to be true. I know that this is not a very convincing definition, not a comprehensive definition, not a very scientific definition. It is not just a simple definition. It can even be called a simplistic definition. But I think that it serves our purpose for the time being. A myth is a story which is false, but which is believed to be true. I shall give you an example. That Dr. Raghu is a great scholar is a myth. This is what my colleagues say, at least some of them. Everyone knows that the claim that Dr. Raghu is a great scholar is false. But everyone also behaves as if it is true. I shall give another example, a better example, a less personal example. The myth of Maveli. Maveli comes to Kerala every Onam, and Onam is now round the corner. Everyone knows that Maveli does not come to Kerala during Onam or during any other period for that matter, except perhaps on Asianet. But everyone behaves as if Maveli comes to Kerala. And The preparation for receiving Maveli when he comes to Kerala is what the festival of Onam is. This is a perfect example of a myth, a story which is false, but which is believed to be true. Eliot makes extensive use of myth in the wasteland. And when I did my MA, I had to write an essay on the use of mythology in the wasteland. Eliot makes use of Christian myths, pagan myths, Hindu myths. Why does Eliot use myths so much in the wasteland? There are a number of reasons. I shall give you a couple of them. A myth is central to the civilization, to the culture. Take, for example, the myth of Maveli. If there is no Maveli, there is no Onam. And if there is no Onam, there is no Kerala. A myth is a narrative which is fundamental to the culture, to the civilization. And if anyone wants to understand a particular civilization, a particular culture, he has to study the myths of that civilization, the myths of that culture. The wasteland is on one plane an attempt to comprehend the state of Western civilization in the early 20th century. And in order to do that, the wasteland identifies the myths that have gone into the making of that particular civilization. That is the first explanation. The second explanation is that in the wasteland, the myths that are used are objective correlatives. The term objective correlative was developed by Eliot himself in his essay on Hamlet. An objective correlative is a set of objects, a situation, a chain of events that can evoke a particular emotion or a particular meaning in the reader. In the wasteland, the poet uses myths as objective correlatives in order to convey particular meanings, particular semantic contents to the reader. The poet wants to convey a particular set of meanings to the reader, and he feels that the best way to do that is to use a myth which is the objective correlative of that particular set of meanings.